in Yaakov and Brachot, page 32. We're going to have an interesting discussion here because it's talking about, for a long time we were talking about davening. So now what we're going to do is look at a famous statement of the original chasidim. Okay? So it says, chasidim harishonim, the original chasidim. What is a chasid? That's the first thing to understand. A chasid is a person who goes beyond the letter of the law. It doesn't matter what the person's wearing. It's looking at more of the actions of the person. Okay? So the chasidim, like I said, a chasid is one who would go beyond the call of duty, if you will. So now we're going to see how the original chasidim would daven. It says, Hayushohin sha'a achat. They would wait an hour before praying Shemona Esrei. They would sit there for an hour contemplating what they were about to do. According to some opinions, for us, because the Gemara many times will say sha'a achat, 1 hour. It doesn't really mean 1 hour. It means a few seconds. Whatever, a little amount of time. It's not a literal statement. When it comes to the Chasidim Rishonim, though, some people take this quite literally. Okay, so that we have to just hear that. So it says, go ahead.
You say a sha'ah, in other words, we translate that as an hour, but it could mean just part of that hour. Is that what?
It could mean part of an hour. It could mean time. When you're getting married. When you announce I'm getting married, right? I'm getting married, mazel tov, mazel tov. So when's the date? So they say, we haven't figured out yet. So you say, b'shad tova u'mutzlachat. It should become a good and successful hour, a good and successful time. It doesn't literally mean hour at that point. It means b'shad tova, b'shad mutzlachat. It's a very loose term at that point. Yeah. And it says in Yiddish, they would say a richtige Shah. You've heard that? You heard that in German? A richtige Shah. You understand that? Richtige you got. Okay. Yeah. But Shah is Yiddish, or German. Right. I mean, Yiddish is... Shah is Hebrew. That's somebody's Yiddish coming into it. But they would say a richtige Shah should be the correct time. The correct time, a richtige Shah. So it's
Das ist richtig.
Das ist was?
Richtig.
Richtig, yeah. Okay. So that's what. So like again, Sha'ah would literally means 1 hour. There's no question about that. But the Gemara at times will mean just time, and not specifically an hour. Can mean minutes or whatever. But when it comes to the Chasidim Rishonim, the rabbis tell us, no, this literally means 1 hour. Literally 1 hour. So first of all, Mina Hanimili, how do we know that, how did they know that they should wait an hour, as it were? So Amr Yeshua ben Levi, Yeshua ben Levi said, because of a verse, Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yahalalucha Asala. Sounds familiar to everybody? Yeah. I hope. Okay. It says, praiseworthy are those who abide in your house, that they will praise you, Selah. Okay, so then, and so the article will explain from Rashi, only after they bide their time in the synagogue will they commence to pray and praise you. Okay, that's number one. The Maharsha looks at this and says, V'yoshvei, the language was V'yoshvei, and they will dwell, and those who dwell, Milashon she'yehu v'akva is a language of hesitating and holding back, as it were. Kamo v'teishvu, like he proves it, because it says v'teishvu b'kadesh yamim, and they lived in Kadesh, talking about the Bnei Yisrael, when they're in the desert, in the Midbar, so they dwelled in Kadesh yamim, days, which meant years. But that's teishvu is they're getting that they sat there. By the way, think about it. Ashrei Yoshvei. What am I doing when I'm sitting? What am I doing? What's Yoshvei? I'm sitting. Yashav. I'm sitting. I'm staying there. I'm settling. So that's what they're learning. They're learning that Yoshve, when happy are those who dwell, who live in the house of Hashem, in your house, namely the house of Hashem. So that means I'm staying there.
You're spending some time
Spending time there. Umilat, so that's one thing. And then it says, Umilat od. Remember, Asher Yoshve V'techa od Yehalalucha. So it's still more. So od is the language of Ne'emar al Davar HaNosif Me'ashior. That's something that's adding to the already, the amount that you're already sitting there. So in other words, Yoshve could be I'm sitting there. I can be sitting for 2 seconds. Od means I'm sitting even longer, double the time, if you will. Add some time to that.
Yeah. Where does the introduction? We use that as an introductory phrase. Ashrei Yosef Yisachar. That's not part. Was it Psalm 145? That, and then we say Mizmor LeDavid.
Right. No. We say Tehillah LeDavid.
Tehillah. Where does the statement Ashrei come
Ashrei Yosef V'techa comes from Psalm. The last 2 lines. Yes, it's the last 2 lines of 144.
Oh.
And then 145 starts Tehillah LeDavid.
Oh, so they're using that as a direct lead, and it
Correct.
actually is the last.
And by the way, why do they use that? Because of this very Gemara. Because of this very Gemara, that's why we say Ashrei Yosef V'techa Od El Chasala. Because of this very Gemara, that's what some people commentaries explain. That's what we're doing that. Okay? So it's interesting. That's what I'm saying. When we learn a Gemara like this, you start to understand our prayers and why we're saying that.
We should show Bill the sinner.
Right behind you. I'll be more than happy to. If you just grab that book, I'll show you what we're talking about.
I mean, it's central.
Okay?
3 times a day.
Yeah, but that's something else. But when it comes to, because it says those who say three, thank you. Sorry about that. When it says those who say Ashrei 3 times a day will be sure heaven, if you were. But the question is, why do we say it before Mincha? We start Mincha, right? And we start with Ashrei. Why? Because we're not supposed to jump right into Shemona Esrei. We're supposed to wait. So Ashrei Yoshve V'techa.
That's the perfect lead-in.
Od Elu Chasala. That's why we start with this song. Okay, like I said, this is 144, this is 145 already. So that's what's going on. Okay? Let's continue. So, so the Maharsha says, Zev Shneimar, that's what it means. Ashrei Yoshve. Happy are those who dwell, or praiseworthy are those who dwell. V'shohin, and wait, beveitecha, in your house. Od v'yotem shiur tefillah, a little more than the time of the tefillah. Kodem ha-tefillah, before the tefillah. So I'm looking at how much time it takes me to daven. I'm waiting a little more than that amount of time, and I'm getting myself ready. And that is that you will praise them. And then afterwards it says, oh, so we're going to get to this. So wait, so that was, you have an hour before Shemona Esrei. And then it says, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Hamid Palil, Tzarich, Sheyeshah, Sha'achal, Achat Filato. That one who davens, after the one who davens needs to wait 1 hour after his prayer. So I was praying, I waited 1 hour to prepare myself. Then I davened for an hour.
That's why we say Ashrei afterwards.
No. As a matter of fact, we say another line. How do we know this? Shneimar says, Ach tzadikim yodu l'shmecha yesh v'yisharim epanecha. That it means, surely the righteous will give thanks to your name, and the upright will linger in your presence. So what does that mean? After giving thanks in prayer, they will linger in your presence. So, we, if you don't mind, okay, after Aleinu, it says, Al tira mipacha betom, right?
Yeah.
It's after Aleinu.
Yeah.
It means do not come, let's just do it in the English, it'll be easier. Do not fear sudden terror or the holocaust of the wicked when it comes. Plan a conspiracy and it will be annulled. Speak your peace and it shall not stand. For God is with us. Even till your seniority I will remain unchanged. Even till your ripe old age I shall endure. I created you and I shall bear you. I shall endure and rescue. That's what Ashkenazim, some people say after Aleda. Lubavitch and Nusach Ari in general say you should, I think it's Nusach Ari in general, I know Lubavitch, they say you have to add the line Ach tzadikim yodu shmecha yeshu sham epanecha. The Rebbe said you had to say that, which again is surely the righteous will give thanks to your name, the upright will linger in your presence. So it's an important thing. We don't see it here. Only the Lubavitchers, to my knowledge, I mean I never looked at the other books to see what they say, but I know the Lubavitch is very makpid on. They're very particular in saying that last line. But that last line is saying, like I said, after giving thanks, you're going to linger in your presence. How long should I linger in the presence? The equal amount of time that I was there first. So you have altogether 9 hours every Shmoneh Esrei. Not even, I have yet to see anybody go 1 hour in Shmoneh Esrei. I've seen 15 minutes. I've seen a little longer. But for the most part, to go an hour, that's a long time.
The longest we go is the Shabbos or Yom Tov morning. It's a longer episode.
No. It's Shmoneh Esrei.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all leading up and everything.
But I'm saying the Shmoneh Esrei you're looking for an hour for. So the closer you're going to get to an hour Shmoneh Esrei, maybe if you're lucky, is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
But it's lucky. I don't know if that's lucky.
Musaf.
No, but the silent one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know. I think it all takes maybe 10, 15 minutes. I don't know, 20 minutes tops. But he was saying that the person needs to wait that much time. Now, what's going on there? So it says, again, the Maharsha kicks in. So it says, "V'kamer la'achet tefillah shene'emar," that which he says after tefillah you should wait an hour because of this verse of the righteous will give thanks. So she'achar sheyodu, it means that after they gave thanks v'yitpalalu b'shmecha and they prayed in your name, yeshvu, they will sit longer v'yishahu ha'yisharim b'riyah panecha. They will sit and hesitate. The righteous will hesitate or linger, if you will, in the presence of your face, l'chud below tefillah, what just alone without saying anything. Now imagine, by the way, I want you to get a picture of what these people are doing. Even if I would sit in meditation, just quietly, I'm not talking to anybody, I'm just sitting there, readying myself to pray to God. Because when I'm davening Shmoneh Esrei, it's a one-on-one with God. Anything else is not a one-on-one with God. Anything else is simply, I'm praising God. That's all I'm doing, I'm praising God. So when it comes to Shmoneh Esrei, I'm talking to God. Mm-hmm. It's like you're on hold. It used to be when we were on hold, that we were on hold and we were stuck. You couldn't do anything. Remember those days on hold?
Yeah.
And why were you stuck? Because your telephone was hooked to that wire, which was hooked to the receiver, and you couldn't walk around. So you were stuck. So when they had the speakerphone, good, Baruch Hashem, I can do speakerphone, I can do 1,000, I can now multitask. But in those other days, you really were stuck to your telephone. So they're on hold, and you're waiting. If they didn't put on that music, then you were just, I don't know what you're doing. You're
dead space.
Looking, right, dead space, and you're thinking, oh my God, how long is it going to be? Wait, but I want to think about this. You were thinking, how long is this going to take? And you're looking, the clock doesn't move fast enough for that person. On the other hand, if I have things to do, I don't care. Do what you want, okay? I'm not worried about it. I'm getting my job done. Now imagine you're taking that much time with tefillah. How much time can you have dead space without going crazy? You ever think about that? And these chasidim would take an hour to get ready an hour to daven, and an hour to decompress or decompose.
And that was
whatever.
just internal meditating. I mean, that wasn't even reciting
Correct.
Pazuki de Zimmer anymore.
Correct. That's what they were. That's what's going on here. That's what's being presented to us. Now, were they? It seems that that's what they were doing. Okay, I'm just saying, if we can wrap our heads around it, it's just an amazing statement of what's happening. So now let's go a little more. Actually, before I do that, I want you to know the H. Yosef says very clearly. That we today, we should not, and he was not today, he's many centuries ago, we cannot hold ourselves to their level.
Why?
Period. Okay, nobody here, nobody in the Gemara is expecting anybody, including the people in the Gemara.
That's Gemara, right?
And the point, the Eitz Yosef is later. He's much later. But I'm just saying that nobody, including the Gemara, by the way, is expecting this to happen. They're saying chasidim rishonim, the original chasidim.
Okay, so
we're not at that level.
The Gemara was talking about earlier before them.
Yeah, we're not at that level. Even they're saying that.
Wow.
They're saying, look at these giants. We're nowhere near that. Wow. How they prove it? Because these two verses. But the Eitz Chaim wants to say very clearly, Eitz Yosef, wants to say very clearly, we're not these people. Okay. Now it goes on. And it says, Tanya Nami Hachi. So we also learned a Braita like this, very quickly. It says, Hamid Pala, the one who prays, he has to wait some time before saying Shemona Esrei, again, 1 hour Achat Tfilato, and after the tefillah. Sha'achar kodem tefillah. How do you know you have to wait 1 hour before tefillah, before saying Shemona Esrei Minayin? How do you know this? Shneamar. It says Ashir Shevetecha. Praise, happy are those who dwell in your house. The achat tefillah after prayer. Minayin. How do you know you have to wait for an hour? Tichtiv, as it says, Ach tzadikim yodeshmecha yeshusham epenecha. Like we were saying. So Tan Rabbanan, the rabbis learned chasidim harishonim. The first rabbis, the first chasidim, the original ones, how you showing sha'achad and palim sha'achad v'choshen showing sha'achad. So they would wait 1 hour before, daven 1 hour, and wait another hour to go to. So it's all together 9 hours. It's all together 3 hours. V'chimi achas sheshoan tet sha'od b'yom tefillah. So from all that, we find out they were 9 hours involved in prayer. How many hours are there in a day?
Yeah.
24. How many hours do we normally sleep? 8. So 17 hours, let's go. 17 hours I have that I'm davening or sleeping. How many hours are left? 24, 7 hours left? Good. So in 7 hours I have to eat, study, I have to do everything else. Work.
Yeah.
So the Gemara says, Toratan heyech mishtameret. How did they keep their Torah? Umalachtan imat nasit. When do they work? You don't have much time here. Remember, you have to eat. Okay, so if you eat like Americans, breakfast is 5 seconds. It's a candy bar you're grabbing out of the closet, whatever. Yeah. Some cereal, whatever it's going to be. Lunch, another 20 minutes, another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Supper, okay, a half hour, and you're tzaddik for a half hour. But it's fine. How are you going to work? And when do you study? Why do I have to study, by the way? If I don't, let's say, we all have to study. If I don't review this, I don't know it. Mm-hmm. I have to review the Torah every single day. I mean, if I don't review, if I don't know what to halacha, I don't know what to do. So what's going on here? So that's the real question. So you're spending 9 hours. You're such a tzaddik. You're spending 9 hours. Tremendous. Well, what happened? You're not working. You're not learning Torah. How is it? So it says, the answer, an interesting answer, Elamitoch shechasidim hein, because they're chasidim, Torah tamish tameret, their Torah is guarded, so they won't forget it. And by God, in other words, umalachtan mitbarechet, and their work is blessed. So here's somebody looks, before I get into any of what the rabbis are saying, here's many people look and say, oh, Baruch Hashem. If I daven 9 hours a day, meditate a little before, daven 1 hour, I'm really I look at every word and I think about it and I shuckle myself into oblivion, okay? And then I wait an hour, all because Hashem, this is what the rabbi told me to do, and what will happen? My Torah, whatever I learned for that 5 seconds, that's great. And my work, I don't even have to work, because whatever I do, it'll be blessed. All I have to do is give my money to the stock market, and I can sit back and relax. That's right. Whatever I do is be blessed. Hashem is going to give me everything. What a beautiful system. I can go on to Section 8 housing. I can go on to Obamacare, and I'm all set. I don't have to do anything else. I just have to daven 9 hours a day. It's a pretty good deal, no? That's what it seems to be. Okay. It doesn't come out that easy. Okay. First of all, again, the Maharsha says, let's try to do this. I have to get three people in here. Okay. Maharsha says, Shemir the Torah, what's going on that they're going to guard the Torah is only, as he says, normally, the only way I'm going to remember Torah is to review it many, many times. If I don't review it, I'm going to forget it. So he says, as it says in the Torah, just be careful to review and to keep learning the Torah, lest you will forget. So this chassid that waited, that's involved in tefillah so much, he has no time to review the Torah. So if that's the case, what's going to happen? She says, even so, his Torah will be guarded by Hashem. Why? And we say furthermore, that any Torah that's not accompanied with work, in the end is going to be lost. So for everybody who wants to learn Torah, and also they just want to, as they say in Yiddish, steig, which is from the German, grow, steig, grow, okay. Climb. All I want to do is steig, and so I'm going to sit there the whole day and not work? No, the answer is you have to work. The Torah says clear, it's in Pirkei Avot, without work, everything's going to fall apart. Why? Because without work, without my profession, without money coming into my house, nothing is going to work. I have to be able to support my family. So if I have to support my family, however God's going to do that, that's God's business. But I have to make some effort. And that means I have to do some work. And he says, Ve'elu, and these chasidim did not have time to put in a full day's work. They only had 7 hours left. And that's why it says their work will be blessed. Okay, as if they worked the whole day. So now, that's what's going on. He says, and that's why you have to look at the pasuk, where it says, you shall serve Hashem and He will bless your bread. Shepatach Balashon Rabin. Shepatach Balashon Rabin opens up V'vadatem in the language of plural. V'sayim Balashon Yachid, but it ends, the verse ends in the singular, Sha'amar, to tell you, the Chol Yisrael, to tell all of Israel, Ve'avadatem et Hashem, you all must serve Hashem. Da'inu tefillah shtei miuedet, the Chol bar Yisrael b'makom avoda korban, because that prayer that that the rabbis established is set up for everybody in the place of the korban, in the korban tamid, the kinsman burnt offering. Ulefi sharov tzibor. And because the majority of the congregation ein yechol lamod ba liyot avodan shlema kol hayom l'shem avodan malachtan, and because the majority of people cannot all be there for the full service, their full service as it were, the whole day to Hashem, and therefore they have to and b'mevatel their work. So sayim b'lashon yachad. That's why it comes down, the end of the verse goes to the individual that's bechasidim, and that's talking about the chasidim. V'yachid Those individuals who have the ability to remain in the service of Hashem, Kim'at Kol Yom, as it were, for most of the day. And they don't want the extras. They don't want the extras. They don't want the Cadillac Coupe de Ville. They don't want the villa. They don't want all these things. What? Arak, lechem, umayim. They only want bread and water. They want the bare minimum. So at that point, Hashem will bless their bread. And what does that mean? God will bless their work in order to give them necessary bread and water, and that will be blessed. It says that the Torah says that if you, what is the whole bracha of Yechalta v'Zavachta? You will eat and you will be satisfied. For those, we just went through Pesach. Okay, when you're having matzah, were you satisfied? Did it satisfy your hunger?
Yeah.
Matzah, as much as bread. How many pieces of bread do you have to have? When you're having challah, how many pieces of challah do you need to have to be satisfied? As compared to matzah.
Oh.
Think about that. Matzah, you can go through 5, 6 pieces and you're still hungry. Put something on. As compared to challah, you take one slice and you're good.
It's more filling.
It's much more filling. That's what the point is. When Hashem gave them this stuff, He blessed the food, the very food and the very water they drank, because they had worked so hard. Now, it also says, so that's the Marsha. Even Yaakov says, to their Torah, how is it guarded? Hashem will bless it. Fine. So it says, the question that they're asking is, when did they learn Torah? These were chasidim, and they weren't ignoramuses. As it says, that an amash can't be a chassid, and a boar, it's a boar, cannot be one who fears God. Memela vadai hayu miyagen atzman bilimud toratan kodem shivalalo chasidus. So obviously, what the Gemara is telling us is that these gentlemen, these chasidim rishonim, did not start out as chasidim rishonim. What happened was they put their time in at the Beis Medrash. They put their time into learning. And after learning Torah and after getting to such a level, and now they want to up their spiritual level even more, to become this sort of group that could sit there for an hour, daven Shemona Esrei, and then come down for an hour. That's a very high level. For those who remember when we were learning Mesilat Yesharim and Path of the Just, where we're going into levels here, that would maybe have been like I forget what that level would have been, but that's not the first level. Chasidim Rishon is not the first level. It's the upper levels, is way up there. I want to be with God constantly. So lechach shal heicham mishtamer Toraton. So since they were no longer involved in Torah, here they had studied their Torah, and we said that unless you review the Torah, you're going to forget it. So how could they have kept it? So that was the bracha that Hashem did for them. It says Kevan shalo ayu mikan yesh lamed she'ein la'adam lenhog atzmo mina chasidut. So from here we learn that a person cannot conduct himself in this level of chassidut yotemidai ad shemile kriso metchila belimud Torah, until he has filled his stomach, as it were, from the beginning with learning of the Torah. V'achar, and after that, aydei mida chassidut, then through this character trait of going beyond the letter of the law, mishtamer Torah, to Hashem will guard His Torah. So in other words, if I got to that level, I worked my way up, I got to that level, now I filled my stomach as well, I'm all filled with Torah. Now I want to, like I said, up that. I want to bring that into reality. I really want to get close to Hashem, as it were. So I work myself up. I work myself. While I'm working myself into that level, I'm also giving up Torah time. So Hashem says, I'm going to guard that Torah. Whatever you learned, you're not going to forget. That's number one. And that which says that your his work will be blessed. That is to learn that he wouldn't have to take from the Torah, do from the Torah, chasidut kardom. He shouldn't have to. This is an interesting statement. What does it mean his work will be blessed? That he won't have to use the Torah, to make the Torah and his midah chasidut into the axe in which to eat from it. In other words, we're not allowed, a spade, not an axe, we're not allowed to make it into a profession. What is normally going to happen? A rabbi, one who learns and is going to have these great things, he goes on a circuit, lecture circuit. And when you go on a lecture circuit, you get paid for that. So but the problem is now I'm using my Torah knowledge as a way to make parnasa, as a way to make money. So that's not good. The Pirkei Avot doesn't like that. So he says that when he says his work will be blessed, it means that he won't have to go out and to misuse, if you will, Torah. And it says, "Ki ein saga maseged chasidim klal rak laso malachto kedei parnasato," because really all a chassid wants to do is, like the Maharsha said, have enough to make his parnasa, and so he just needs a little bit. And that will be blessed on its own. So here's the type of guy that so let's go back to a very modern day situation. If a guy has really put his time in, he's learning, he learned day and night. And then what happened was he wants to go to the next level. All the way through, by the way, he's been working, he's been doing everything, he's had his family and so on and so forth. Well, as time goes on, he keeps pushing the envelope. And he's not OCD about this, but he's pushing the envelope. Fine. Then, if he's really doing it l'shem shemaim, and he's not doing it to go on a lecture tour, and he doesn't want to go on lecture tours, that's when he gives his money to the stock investor, stock investment, and let Hashem do the work for him. Because Hashem is saying, I will bless you. That's what's going on. I will bless your work. Whatever you do, that will be blessed. And then you can make money, and you don't have to worry. Because all you want is, again, for your parnasa, for you to support yourself. You're not looking for the big things in life. If you're looking for the big things in life, you want the mansion, you want the cars, you want all the toys. That Hashem is not going to give you. That's not what this Gemara is saying. Hashem is saying, what you can have, you will be satisfied. And if I'm at that level of davening 9 hours a day, I'm really not looking for anything. I mean, I'm not part of this world anymore, in reality. Who can do that? Even the kollel guys who learn all day, they don't learn all day. Besides getting a cup of coffee, they go out for lunch, they go to their families, they're really, running all around.
Need a break now and then.
There's a break going on here. Even in yeshiva, the biggest yeshivas in the world, what happens is every yeshiva has a basketball court. And every basketball court is used. There's no such thing as nobody's using a basketball court. You want to see a pool table nobody uses? I hear that. But when it comes to the weight rooms, it comes to the other things, certainly basketball, they all know how to throw the ball into the hoop. When I was in yeshiva, in the middle of the winter, we would shovel off the court just so we could play basketball. You need time to just relax. Yeah. And we don't have, and that's why guys would go to work to relax. It's a crazy thing. You would think, cut the grass to relax. Well, when you cut the grass, it's different. When you cut the grass, you're solving the world's problems. That's what you're doing with the grass. That in the lunch hour, you solve everything. But really, that's what's going on. So, these chasidim Rishonim, like I said, like the H. Yosef says, they're not in this world, and that's why he says Vaday. And now we go to the H. Yosef, and he says Vaday ein anu l'hachzik atzmenu We cannot consider ourselves as part of this. Mr. Merit, that our Torah will be guarded, and that we should kill, as it were, nullify 9 hours of the day in tefillah. Ragdai lanu is enough for us. It would be Halavais basically saying it would only be enough for us lamod l'shahod ma'at kodem tefillah v'achar tefillah, that we should wait a little bit before tefillah and a little bit after tefillah. If we would even do that, we'd be in good shape. In other words, a dead time, what we call dead time. Not going from Gal Yisrael, but we're Hashem Sifatai Tiftach. There's no dead time there. I'm just going from Gal Yisrael, Hashem Sifatai Tiftach, boom. That's why probably the rabbis made us walk 3 back, 3 forward. But it's there's no dead time for the reality.
Do we know from anywhere tomorrow? Did they recite any Pesukei Dezimra, or when and where did that come in our custom of reciting this whole section of Psalms, etc.?
I'm not sure if there's anything in the Gemara. I don't remember it. Certainly not from Bracha. I don't remember from Bracha at all. So it's the Siddur was made in, I believe, 900 of this era. I don't think it was before then. I don't think it was codified before then. Certain things were said, but I think it was more of a Hefgewelt on this world. And it wasn't. I don't think it was anything specific.
I mean, it seems like
the Gemara says blessings. The Gemara says the brachot that we say in the morning, that was there. So and that
should be said.
That's clearly.
As soon as you get out of the bathroom,
Birchot Torah is there.
Yeah.
But when it comes, I think Birchot Torah is there. But it's surely the 15 brachos are there.
So, and what I'm thinking in my mind is that then our modern practice, which goes back many centuries, obviously, into the
Rashi was definitely like us.
I mean, saying that our saying of all these groupings of Psalms is kind of a replacement for that 1 hour of meditation.
It could be. Which is why, if I just follow the halacha, which is why if I would be late, or anytime actually, I could get away with it.
Yeah.
Baruch Shamar, Ashrei Yishtabach. That's why if I'm teaching, when I teach, I used to, depending on who I'm teaching, I'll sometimes give them that heter, say these 3 things, and then go, when you can build up, you build up.
Yeah.
But, at least those 3. But the problem with giving heterim like that is people don't grow up. They don't grow. They say, the rabbi said I could do this, and they'll do it for the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And that's no good. You really want to be in a growing, you want to steig, you want to climb. And it can't be that the rabbi said this and I don't have to go anymore. No, again, we give, when we're, depending on who we're teaching, even our kids, when you go to school, they teach only certain things in school. The assumption, I'm guessing, is that they're going to go, as they progress, they'll do more and more and more, but I don't think that's a good assumption. As a matter of fact, I know it's not. When I was in Maine, I taught my kids to pray certain things. We were going that way. They came here, and I said to my kids, so what does your class do? Oh, they don't do this. They don't do this. I said, wait, but you know how to do that. Yeah, but teach them not to. So they stopped doing what they were already doing. And I said, I don't want to go down in level. I want to go up. I want to steig. But that's what happened. So then, again, it's a building process. Hopefully they're saying everything now. I assume my son is, because he's sitting next to me, but who knows? I don't know. I'm dumbing myself. In the end, I don't know. He could be drifting off. He could be the chasidim rishonim, drifting off for an hour. But think about that. How many people come? You also notice people coming late.
Yeah.
For them, it's on time. Whenever they come, it's on time for them. But really, it's late. And what are they doing to catch up? What are they saying?
They're either
doing
awful fast, or they're abbreviating.
No, nobody's doing awful fast.
Yeah.
They're cutting. Or they're not davening with a minyan. Again, davening with a minyan means Shemon Esrei. They have to get to Shemon Esrei. So I don't know what they're doing. So because I know some people come at Baruchus. There's no way you're going to catch up from Pesukah Zimmer to Baruch Hu and get Shemon Esrei in time without cutting.
You say Baruchos if you haven't said it already, and then try to catch up, right? To jump in with the Baruchos for the Shema. I mean, if you entirely miss Pesukah Zimmer.
So then again, what you say is Baruch Shem. You have to know what you're doing. You say Brachot, Baruch Shemar, Ashrei, Yishtabach, and try to catch up. But it's you have to know yourself.
I see people come in, and this is not just here, but it's places like where we live, that will come in late and start getting their tefillin on just when we're already after Ashrei, right?
Right.
And they're just taking their time, and they could use that abbreviation to catch up and be together with Kal Yisrael,
right.
But they don't. They're davening Shemona Esrei way behind.
Oh,
why don't they know that that's the whole point? That's.
I don't know if they don't know.
No.
They may not care. They may say, "Look, I'm not going to catch up, so I'd rather daven my way."
Wow.
Could be. I know when I've walked in late, and the few times it's happened for whatever reasons. So I actually told my son, just say these three. We have to daven Shemona Esrei with the kehillah. You don't make the minor the major. Yeah. We have to understand what the ikar, the main principle is, and that's part of the problem. I think that people sometimes forego that. The halach also says if I keep coming in late, knas, you're going to get a knas for that. You'll be fined. Say everything, you miss it, your loss. But it's because we're not supposed to do it late. But but I know that people skip.
Yeah.
And I think they're hurting themselves when they skip, but I think that people should be on time. We'll have to stop here.
Yeah.
Good.
This really ties in with what we were talking about yesterday about Aliyah, up and
right.
down.
Correct. Yep.